This is the lesson 2 of our free chess course, step by step to become an effective tournament player. I'm Coach Ed, the founder of Chesscology. For today's lesson, we will tackle the pieces arrangement, pawn movement, and capture. If you're ready, let's go. This is the standard position before you start playing chess. If you are playing white, remember that your pawns must be placed or positioned on the second rank. If you are playing black, please be reminded that your pawns must be on the 7th rank. Now let's go to major pieces, which is the rook, or must be put in the corner of the board. Same with black. Right after the rook, the knight, and after of that, the bishop. And here's the tricky one. The king and the queen. Sometimes player unconsciously switch the position. So for you not to get confused where to position or where to place your queen and king, if you are playing white, your queen must be on the same color of square. So you have to put your queen on the light square, and the king must be on the opposite color square. So dark square for the white king. Same thing with black. Let's clear the board and put back all the pieces in the right places. Let's go for white pawns first. Must be on the 2nd rank. For black, on the 7th rank. Right after, let's grab our rook and put that in the corner of the board. Of course, the knight right beside the rook. The bishop after the knight. And here, to avoid confusion, grab your queen first. If you're playing white, put that one in the light square for black, dark square, and right beside the queen, of course, the king. If you arrange the pieces correctly, congratulations. Now let's talk about the pawn movement and capture. Let's talk about the rules of a pawn. Pawn is the only piece on chessboard that cannot move sideward, cannot move backward. It is only allowed to move forward. When making a move from the original position, each pawns are allowed to move 2 steps on their first ever move. The succeeding move will be 1 step forward. I will give you example by moving our pawn. Don't forget that the piece to move first is white. I mentioned earlier that the pawn can move 2 steps or 1 step on their first ever move, and the succeeding move is a step only. Let's try here. 2 steps for the first move. 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 All of these pawns can move 2 steps on their first ever move. As well, pawn can move 1 step on their first ever move. How? You can just go 1 step here, 1 step for each pawn on their first ever move. Now let me illustrate the succeeding move. Let's say you decided to go 2 steps for your first ever move. Your opponent decided just 1 step for first move. Question: can this pawn move 2 steps or just 1 step? Since you already moved this pawn, the succeeding move of this pawn is just 1 step. Same thing with this pawn. Even though this pawn didn't move 2 steps, the succeeding move of this pawn will be a step only. Let's have a quick activity. Let's say you move 2 steps on first ever move. Your opponent, same thing, 2 steps. Question: since the pawn cannot move sideward or backward, can this pawn move forward even though there's a pawn blocking the way? The answer is no, because this pawn is only allowed to move forward and there's a pawn blocking its way, so it will stay in its position. Let's talk about capture. pawn is only allowed to move diagonal forward if there's a piece to capture. How pawn captures? You all you have to do is to move your pawn diagonal forward and the piece will be taken away. Same thing for black. Diagonal forward and the piece will be taken away. Let's go for another activity. Is this white pawn can capture the pawn blocking the way? No. Is this pawn can move diagonal forward and capturing the pawn? Yes. This black pawn can move forward capturing this pawn? No. Can this black pawn move diagonal forward to capture this pawn? Yes. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something. See you on our next lesson.